How you doing, guys? Doing good? All right. So today we have Chuck Hardchuck1, um, and I believe his name is Charles or something like that. Charles Harding. So right now I'm gonna start off with some of the stuff from the chat log. So I actually went through the trouble of actually printing this, highlighting this, and writing notes. So I feel like this is going to be one of my more, until my analysis videos come out, but this is going to be one of the more fancier ones. So yeah, and excuse the noise if you hear anything. I'm in the middle of a fight with my boyfriend. So yeah. So it starts off like any other day. No, I'm not that type of channel. Could you imagine though? But 12/31/05. So December 31st. This is like almost the new year. So it starts off with him contacting the decoy. Of course, you guys know how this thing works. And the decoy telling him that the decoy is 13 years old, 13-year-old male. I don't know who's doing that. I think this is Dell, but I'm not 100%. It's saying where he lives and stuff, and the decoy asked, "How old are you?" And Chuck was like, "Too old for you. What are you looking for? I could be your grandpa into young boys your age." So this was one of the things that he had lied about originally during the sting. He claimed, like most predators, he claimed not to know the decoy's age and all of that. And don't worry, I'm gonna be doing the video of top predator excuses. I'm gonna be ranking and talking about predator excuses, and I can't wait for that. So yeah, it's gonna take a lot of research and a lot of video watching, but yeah, I know most of them, but yeah. I could be your grandpa into boys your age, love to cuddle with them, caress their bodies, work my tongue all over, and suck on their hard genitalia. Suck their hard genitalia dry. And then it goes on about the decoy wanting to be a girl. And I don't know what year this is. I'm thinking this is like, I don't know. Here I am yawning again. Around the time where people were talking about transitioning and stuff like that, like during that sort of movement, I suppose. So yeah. And here they are trading pics, exchanging pics. The decoy again asking for his age. And I feel like he was a little bit hesitant to give him his age, but he finally said that he was 65. And I'm just gonna get to my highlighted points so I don't spend time rambling. But he goes like into some sexual stuff, and then the decoy says that they had gotten raped before, and Hardchuck1 was like, "Who is the male? Who was the male? He spelled this wrong, or he said this wrong. Who is the male? What was inside you, son?" And the decoy said something wild. The decoy was like, "My uncle." And then the decoy was like, "BRB." And then Hardchuck1 was like, "Cool. Did he have a big, what?" And it's just like so sick. Like the depths of his delusion, and I know this is not an analysis video, but the depths of his delusion goes so hard. Like he is like so, I guess you could say I wouldn't even say brainwashed. He was so enamored with pedophilia. The book that he reads, I don't know, like I think he said hand jobs or whatever. The book that he reads fires him up so much that he views this as something to get a rise, like to get him aroused, and it's just freaking sick. Like any other normal human being would be like, oh, I'm so sorry, but not him. He's too concerned about whether or not his uncle was hung, and it's just like, come on, like have some humanity. And this is why I don't like him. This is why I don't like Hardchuck1. Like I hate him for that reason, because he is like the definition of a predator. Actually, there are some predators on this show that could probably top him, but still. And then he said, and going into that, he said, "Wish I could find a young man to play with." And another thing in this video that we're going to be talking about, he started off saying that he was renting a house to this 13-year-old child, apparently. So yeah, but this right here, this is another conversation. This is a conversation they had on the next day, which was New Year's. It was New Year's Day. It was 01/01/06, so the start of 2006. And I was in, oh gosh, first grade or kindergarten, or maybe like second grade, something like that. I was stupid young. Like I was born, I'm 22 right now. As of the recording of this video, I'm 22. I was probably like in kindergarten or something in 2006. Like, I don't know, like that is far back. So yeah, it goes into that, and then he starts exchanging pictures, and they don't, of course they don't show the pictures, but it's child pornography. Like, why would, like, I don't understand why he wouldn't be suspicious. Like, he's over here walking into somebody's house. Like, he's going to somebody's house. So why, like, you sent child pornography and you couldn't, I know this is stupid, but at least predators were like, hey, are you a cop? Are you a cop? Jeffrey Douglas Stacy, are you a cop? But at least he like made some sort of an effort. Like, this guy just straight up sends some child porn. Like, it is despicable. And I don't know why I didn't highlight this, but like the decoys back then were pretty wild. This 13-year-old boy asked for nylons. And then he asked if he was rich, and this, oh my gosh, this is an underrated TCaP line. No, son, rich only in the love I have and the care for a young man. Whatever that means. I think he was trying to be poetic, but he missed the mark. And here's one. I know, like, for a lot of the excuses, they claim that they want to be a mentor, or they don't come out and say that they want to be a mentor, but it was implied. They want to teach the kids the ropes, inform them about internet safety. But this guy right here actually says that he wants to be a mentor. He says, I don't know why I didn't highlight this, but he's like, yeah, I know they do. The decoy said, asking. The decoy said, lots of guys say that, but just want sex. Just want sex. And Hardchuck1 said, yeah, I know they do. And I don't like that. I want to be friends first, and then a mentor, and have sex. So I know a lot of Chris Hansen will be like, so you want a mentor? You want to be the mentor? But Hardchuck1, he actually wants to be the mentor. Of course, he wants to molest a 13-year-old child in the process. But hey, he wants to be a mentor. Why don't you get up with why don't you meet up with freaking Mike McKenzie or Mike McKenzie or whatever. I mean, you guys would be the mentors of the year. I don't know. Like he's pretty. This line is pretty weird. He wants showing you different ways to learn and let you see how I live and follow the rules and observe other people. Like that is so weird. Like what do you mean exactly by that? So that one was pretty weird. And then the decoy was like mentor. Does that hurt? And he was like a dad. I get it. And Hardchuck1 said, I don't want to cause you, oopsie, my Summoner's War. And Hardchuck1 said, I don't want to cause you any pain or hurt right now. Like, if that was true, if you truly didn't want to hurt him, you wouldn't have showed up and you wouldn't have had a sexually explicit chat showing him child pornography at the tender young age of 13. Like, that's pretty sick. I mean, you've done a lot of damage already. And, like, the chat is enough to convict people. So, the decoy asks for more pics, and he sends them more, and I believe that's just child porn. And then Hardchuck1 said, no, I don't want to put my, blank inside you. I want to hug you close to me, lick your body all over and suck your blank, and you could suck my blank. It's like I don't know. That is just, oh gosh, that is so disgusting. Like, why would you ever say that to a child, no less? What else? So I want to hurry up and get to the video, so I'm just gonna read my notes. What I tell my mom where I'm going, and this is when they were talking about meeting up and stuff, and they were arranging plans. And Hardchuck1 said you could tell here. You could tell here. He probably meant her. You could tell here her. I don't know what he's trying to say. You could tell here are going to the mall or to a friend's house. And that's so disgusting because you do think about the real life implications of this, about how children do experience this. They will sneak out of their house to see a predator. I wanted to say potential predator, but at that point you're just a freaking predator. Now, I do have a little bit of a story that I want to tell, and that's when I was young. I actually found myself in one of these situations where I did have a chat online with somebody, who I was very young. I was like in middle school. I had to be no older than, like, gosh, not even 13, probably like 12 or something like that. I was probably 13, but no older than 13. And I trusted somebody off the internet, and my father's parental instincts kicked in, and I invited him to the dance with me. And I don't know what was going through my school's mind, but they let us both in. So they let this grown man come in to a middle school dance. So yeah, and he wanted to take me to his car in the middle of the dance and rape me. And I got really scared. Like, I got so scared. So I ended up calling my father and telling him that I want to go home. Like, I was so scared. And I ditched him right then and there. And I'm just so thankful that I decided to meet at, like, a more of a semi-public place, like a middle school, even though the teachers should have been questioning, but like a school rather than, a secluded park at night. So yeah, that really that hits me close. Like, you could tell here are going to the mall or to a friend's house when he's actually sneaking off and going over to Hardchuck1's place, which is just so sick. And Here, this part of the chat, Hardchuck1 shares his resume with like the 13-year-old. He's like, I'm now retired. I used to drive a bus or the elderly and handicap. I think he meant for the elderly and handicap. He's probably using some sort of speak to text. I don't know what options were available in 2006, but I believe there were some. But he said he was a retired bus driver, handicapped for 5 years. I worked as a travel agent for 13 years. Worked with an airline for 19 and 3/4 year, and I was in the religious live. I think he means life. I was in the religious life for the Catholic Church for 2.5 years and taught freshmen in high school, which apparently he was lying about. When we're gonna go through this, but he was lying about. And I want to say something real quick. I know people like, Fast Eddie and, people like to say, bring up assumptions about people of like the Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I'm Christian, but there are people who do like to bring stuff up like, oh yeah, you should have expected this. All Catholics are rapists and child molesters. Like, that is so not true. There's so much misinformation, fake news. There's so much misinformation and lack of understanding when it comes to religion, and there are so many people who are quick to dismiss it as anti-science or a fairy tale or a myth. And I'm not preaching to you right now. I'm not preaching to you, but I think that as a society we've lost the lack of respect for people who do hold certain beliefs, whether that be Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist. I think it's very dishonorable to make fun of somebody because of their religion, and if that makes me like I don't know, a square or something like that, I don't really care. Like, I do strongly believe that, if you're gonna go as low as to make fun of somebody's freaking beliefs, that says a lot about you. Like, if you're gonna go as far as to like harass somebody over being a Christian, or harass somebody over being a Muslim, or a Buddhist, that really shows a lot about your character and about you in general. And I just wanted to get that out there. And I mean, yeah, like, there was a point where I was an atheist. Like, there was a point, but I saw like personal developments in my life have caused me to turn away from that and to really, I'm not trying to give my testimony or anything, but I grew up and I really started questioning myself and my beliefs, and I found God from that. So yeah, you think me biased, but I don't really, like, I'm not biased. I'm just saying that if you make fun of people because of their religion, you're really stupid. Like, yeah, you're a loser. There's a difference between critiquing a religion, which I don't have any issue with, and there's a problem with just being downright calling every Catholic, Christian, and Muslim person rapists. To me, that's you're a loser if you do that. It's spreading harmful. I wouldn't say harmful. Spreading, I guess, misinformation. Now, are there priests and stuff that are known for being rapists and child molesters? Absolutely. And those people should absolutely be put to the light. But to sit here and say everybody who practices Catholicism or Christianity are rapists, come on. But yeah, and he was also in the Air Force for 4 years. So he's a military man, which makes it all the more dishonorable. And then they talk on the phone, and after the phone, he was like, "You have a real nice voice, Luke. You sound real hot on the phone. I would like to meet you." So he initiated the meeting, and oh wow, I wish I could pick you up on Friday on my way home from my mother's. You could stay with me at my place, and then I could take you back. And I don't know if that's something that he was going to actually do. I kind of feel like he was just going to keep him. He probably could kidnap him or convince him to move in with him, and I think that's more of a plausible explanation. I truly believe that he had no good intentions. This child molester had no good intentions. Like, he truly did not have any good intentions with this kid, and I do feel like if this was a scenario where there was a real child involved, he would have taken that child, and he probably would have never came back, and like nobody would have ever seen his face again, which is very terrifying to think about, and really sheds light on how messed up and dangerous these types of people are. And then he says, "I want to be friends first. Yes, I would like to have sex with you, but that is not required." And that's just a manipulation tool on his end. He wants to. He realizes that he's talking with a 13-year-old, and he wants the 13-year-old to feel as safe as possible. So he wants to give them the illusion of choice. He wants to give them the illusion that he has a say-so, and I truly feel that once he gets that child in his grasp, he's going to either pressure him hard, best case scenario, or just forcibly rape him, unfortunately. So I truly don't believe that was something that was, and plus, him talking about him talking about the book of hand jobs, he's already deep into pedophilia, and I don't believe that he's going to drive hours for a child, and drive hours back. I truly don't believe he's going to drive hours and go through all of that trouble just to get a handshake. Whether it be him forcing himself upon the child or something of that nature. But no, on a serious note, I don't think that's what he actually believed. He was just giving the child the illusion of choice, which is something that you learn in psychology. A tactic that you actually use on younger children, like toddlers. You give them the illusion of choice only to help them make better decisions. In a good sense, you use that on toddlers whenever they're growing up to get their decision making skills. Help them make better decision making skills and give them the illusion of power. Because I took child development. It was a really good class, but I took early childhood development. I took early to late childhood development, and I also took like adult geriatric development. But yeah, that's something that you would use with like a toddler, giving them the illusion of choice, just to help their decision making skills. Like, you can either clean your room, and you wouldn't say that to like a little kid. You can either eat your broccoli, or you don't get any dessert. It's all up to you. You can choose not to do that, but as a result, you're not going to be getting cake. And the child is going to develop, higher thinking skills. Like, oh, well, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get cake, so I might as well muscle through it. And it really helps build willpower, responsibility, and all of that stuff. But let's move on. And then he talks about how he would like to go to the movies with this 13-year-old child. I would like to go to the movies with you, out to eat, and all that stuff. So he's planning a date with a 13-year-old child. And I don't really believe this is something that he's going to be doing. Like I said, I feel like this is all just a manipulation tool to make the child feel comfortable. He's playing on his emotion because of the decoy's concern with him just using him for sex and then just leaving. And he showed interest. Okay. We haven't gotten to there yet, but later in the chat, the decoy does show... give the illusion of showing care for him, but as we read through, Luke really wanted to have a boyfriend, if Luke was real, Luke really wanted to have a boyfriend, and Chuck is trying to manipulate him, manipulate his emotions, so that he gets what he wants from this child, like, be it sex. So he's gonna try everything that he can to earn this child's trust, so he can molest this child. It's all just a manipulation tactic. And then, they talk about going on then Chuck talks about going on dates, Disney World, and all that stuff. And then he says, and then this is where I guess you can see his he caught up with his reading. He said, "Grandpa, Daddy, will you be here? Grandpa, Daddy will be here for his son and lover," which is absolutely disgusting. If you really take all the I wouldn't say take the blinders off, but if you really deconstruct this whole sentence, it's actually very sick. This man wants to have the illusion, and I don't know if he has children or not. I don't think they said, and I didn't see if he had any kids, but if he had children, imagine what he would have done to those kids. And I pray that if he does have kids, that he didn't lay a finger on them. And then the decoy said, "You love me?" And he said, "I can real easy, son, so I'm already falling in love with you." And that's not real love. It's just manipulation. Like I've said 100 times. It's, if anything, if he was real about it, and there's a small smidgen, if he was real about it, it's more of selfish love. It's not the type of agape. Like if you studied agape, selfish love, the love that God has for the world, and I'm not preaching, but this is just it. Agape is the love, unconditional, eternal love. The love that God has for the world. And sometimes agape can be translated into love at its purest sense. So the love that you have for your wife, unconditional love till death do us part, that type of love. We have that love, we have superficial love, and then we have this sort of love which is just selfish love, where he wants to fulfill all of his needs, but he doesn't want to make a commitment to this child. Like if you're going to rape a kid, at least call him the next morning. But he wasn't interested in all of that, and I really, truly, deeply believe that he was going to take advantage of this child and the situation, and take him to his house, never bring him back, rape him, and just use him. To be honest, we don't really know how much of a dangerous predator this guy is. Nobody really knows what he's capable of. But he says, "I can real easy, son. I'm already falling in love with you," which indicates that he doesn't feel love towards this child. It's all lust. He's lusting after a 13-year-old child. So yeah, and if you love this, you're gonna love my analysis videos. I go deep into psychology. I don't really learn a lot too much about psychology because I'm a respiratory care practitioner student, so I deal mainly with the health. You learn about the cardiopulmonary system, the heart, cardiothoracic area and stuff like that, medical stuff. So I'm not here to I'm here to assess your breaths per minute. Not sit you down and talk about your life decisions and stuff like that. I wish I had enough time for my patients, but I just don't. Right now, I'm just working in a pharmacy. Well, I'm a pharmaceutical analyst, so I work a lot with doctors and medication in general. So I'm not too much of a therapist now, but I do remember from taking early childhood development, which was an amazing class. I freaking loved it. It taught me a lot about child psychology. I did take psychology and I passed it with flying colors. I didn't really have to try because I just have a strong grasp on psychology. It's something that I'm so naturally good at that I don't really see the need to study more about it because I could pass a test with flying colors. So it's not something that I I really took too much interest in, because I found stuff like psychology to be what's the word? I found it to be easy. And I'm not saying that to brag in any way, but I'm just trying to highlight that I'm pretty good at psychology. So like, if you like this analysis, you're really gonna like, which isn't really an analysis, but you're really gonna like when I go deep with analysis videos. So we have all this. He's, asking if he's gonna stay over and stuff like that. And this is where the decoy says, "You promise you not like just use me for sex, but this is real." And Chuck said, "No, I'm not using you for sex. I want to be friends and more with you, Luke." So he doesn't say specifically that he wants a relationship, which, is a strong indicator that he really is just trying to use him. The language that he uses, he's actually trying to spare the child's feelings, because he's going to, I don't doubt that he was going to double back on that and say, "Well, I never said I wanted to be in a relationship with you, Luke. I said that I just wanted to be friends, and I wanted nothing more." So he was probably gonna pull. Gosh, I gotta do an analysis video on that guy as well, but I forgot his name. The guy who came in and was like, no strings attached, to like this 13-year-old little girl who doesn't even know what that means, who can't easily get detached after being raped. But yeah, he says that he wants to be friends and more, Luke. So he's alluding to a possibility of a relationship that's most likely never going to happen. He's just a pervert, and he only wants to use Luke for his body wholeheartedly. But he's trying to gain the child's trust by saying, no, I'm not using you for sex. Not at all. When in reality, that's exactly what he's doing. And then, the decoy says, that's what I want. And this is where I kind of think that perverted justice was getting a little bit dirty. And and the decoy said, "Can you take X pics of me?" Like, okay, they were fishing for an extra charge there. That's a bit much. But now I think that's kind of crossing the line there. Just a little bit. Like, now you're trying to get them in trouble. Now you're actually trying. I don't mind. These people are pieces of garbage, and I want them to have the highest maximum amount of time possible in jail. But still, I thought that was pretty wild. But yeah, so that's some of a sort of a pre-analysis to this video. So let's go ahead and start this video. And I really don't want to separate this into two parts. I'm really bad at keeping up with part 1, part 2, part 3. So I might just extend this video all out instead of just saying, okay, part 1, part 2. So you guys are probably going to have to sit here and bear with me and have this hour-long TCaP session. So yeah, let's go ahead and start watching this.
Yeah. Hey, hold on a second. I gotta finish brushing my teeth, okay?
And that right there is Dell. I was gonna say Dale. It's Dell. I'm surprised none of the screen names was like Dale something. That would have been pretty funny.
I got the counter. So we're gonna go get the camera?
And right there, he sort of clenched onto the curtain as if, like, he was going to leave. And he probably was going to leave, but he decided to stay. So I feel like right here, he's actually thinking and feeling something. Maybe he has a feeling that something's not quite right, which we'll see with what he says next. But I feel a feeling of nervousness coming from him.
We'll check around here, okay? Hey, how are you? Okay. Why don't you
Startled, man. This man was scared.
try to run that stool there for me, okay? What you up to today? Nothing. I had a call.
Yeah, when when the predators say nothing, they actually mean everything. Nothing good.
You talk to a gentleman?
A gentleman?
Yeah, so...
You had a call to talk to a gentleman?
Yeah, he told me to come on in and talk to him about possibly selling the house or something.
Selling the house?
Yeah, I have a place that I have for sale, so...
Oh, yeah, and that's this whole story. You don't need me to tell you, but this whole story is a piece of crap, and it's such... how would I rate this excuse? I mean, I know this isn't the video, but on the fly... Because he probably think in his mind, like all the other predators, Chris is either a parent or the police, and so he's probably thinking at this moment, oh, he's just the parent. So, I mean, would it work? If the parent didn't know any better, it probably could. But, I don't... There are worse excuses, but there are better excuses. But I guess for the time frame, like this was like around 2006, so this could be plausible.
You're selling a house.
I see he was interested.
And how did you get in contact with the fellow who wanted to perhaps buy the house yourself?
Because you could easily, if you didn't know any better, and this was a real situation playing out, you could have. Be like, oh, well, sorry, dude, this is the wrong address, and then you'd be like, okay, well, I'll be on my way. And thank goodness that this wasn't that, and Chris was there to actually stop him, because there's no doubt in my mind that he would have done this again, or tried this again with another young child.
We were chatting on the internet.
On the internet. And who was the fellow you were going to see?
He said his name was Luke. I don't know what his last name.
Luke.
Mm-hmm.
At least come up with a fake name.
And you talked to Luke about selling him your home.
Right.
Well, here's what doesn't make sense about that. How was a 13-year-old going to afford to buy your home?
Well, I didn't know how old he was. I didn't ask.
And that's a complete and utter lie. The decoy said his age... the third sentence in the chat was the decoy's age. So he knew right away, and he, of course, you saw him mention his age and come up with solutions based around his age, like telling people he'll be the grandpa and stuff like that, and telling him that he loves young boys his age. So he absolutely 100% knew how old he was, but you didn't need me to tell you that.
Stop to ask his age.
You didn't ask his age?
No. I just thought he was interested because I'd had it listed, and he says, I understand you have a place for sale, so.
Really? And where is the home you're selling?
Down in Anaheim.
In Anaheim. Mm-hmm. Right next to Disney World there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
and how much are you selling it for?
$25,000.
$25,000. That's quite the bargain.
So it's a mobile home.
Yeah, that is quite the bargain. I'm not too familiar with house prices back then, but I do know right here right now that the cheapest house that you're gonna get, depending on where you live, but the cheapest house that you're going to get that's not a trailer is going to be around 90, maybe even 80, sometimes 60 to $100,000. And I think a trailer park is going to cost around there.
Three-bedroom mobile home.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, the only problem with that story is that I have the transcripts of your conversation with Luke.
You can see his heart. You can see his heart drop right there. If you have a keen eye, I guess an eye for detail, moi. I'm messing. But you see the exact moment he knew that he was in trouble. He's in trouble. see the worry on his face. He is worried. Pure worry.
What are you looking for? I could be your grandpa. Into young boys your age, love to cuddle with them, caress their body, work my... And it goes on from there.
He looks like he's about to cry. Like, he is in pure worry mode. Like, of course he's panicking, but his panicking is trumped by his worry. I guess panic and worry are the same thing. In my mind, panic is more like you're losing your crap. And worry is like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do.
Are you sure it's my CCHARD?
Hardchuck1.
His face just now. But I like the excuse that he tried to use. He was like, are you sure it's me? That can't be me.
Wish I could find a young man to play with. Wish I could find a young man to play with. Wish I could cuddle you in my arms and kiss you and blank your blank.
Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. Like I said, if you really dismantle this and like see it for what it is that sentence is disgusting. Like, just saying that to like a little kid? Come on, dude. You can see the pure worry and panic on his face.
Well, I have another person that uses my computer.
Another person.
Right.
Wow, so he was willing to throw somebody under the bus. How rude, Chuck.
Is that another person, Chuck?
No, that's me.
That's you.
But, he has access to the computer.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're not like David Hasselhoff or whatever, Johnny Depp or whoever the young ladies are into these days. I'm sure nobody is like, oh crap, let me find a hot picture of a 65-year-old man. Ooh, Chuck Hardin. Like, no. No. Like, you sent that and you know it.
Thanks. Would you like me to give you an exam?
He looks like he's about to cry.
He asks if you're rich. No, son. Rich only in love I have and the care for a young man.
I swear, that is my favorite line.
What do you do for a living, Chuck?
I'm retired now.
You're retired. But before you retired, what did you...
Oh no, he gave that 13-year-old his entire resume. He gave his entire resume. Let's actually go back to that. His whole resume. I'm gonna be like Chris Hansen. Let me see if I can find it in the chat log. But where is it? Oh yes, the third page. He said, "I'm now retired. I used to drive a bus for the elderly and handicapped for 5 years. I worked as a travel agent for 13 years. Worked with airlines for 19 and 3/4 years." Like this, he's saying his whole resume. And I was in a religious life for the Catholic Church for 2.5 years and taught freshmen in high school. I mean, that's some good employment history. Keep it up, and you might just get hired. Maybe you should give some resume advice to JPW.
I was working for the bus company down there in Orange County, driving the handicapped and disabled.
And before that?
I was with a travel agency for a couple of years, and I was with a military travel agency for 5 years, and then I was a government employee with the Navy as travel.
Were you ever...
And that's something that he actually said that he was, but apparently he lied. He said that he taught freshmen in high school. So it's either he's lying then or he's lying now.
Not per se. When I was in the religious life, I was studying to be a teacher in high school for photo offset printing at the Catholic High School.
And when you say religious life?
Catholic Church, for the Catholic Church.
But what role did you play in
I was a brother. I was a brother.
You were.
I think Chris, he is, I think Chris is either Christian or Catholic. So he knows about the Catholic roles. I'm not a Catholic, so I don't know about like Catholic roles and stuff, but he seems pretty well versed in it.
Brother.
Yeah.
In what order?
The Society of St. Don Bosco.
And so you were a collared brother.
Well, we didn't wear a collar. We wore a suit with a cross. That was all. And I was in my first set of vows. I had to go to Rome and ask for a dispensation.
Yeah, so he was deep. Like, he went to Rome and stuff, so he was probably, like, deep in there.
Is this an appropriate conversation to have with somebody who said they were 13 years old?
Not really, no.
Then why did you have this conversation?
I'm not... it's IUCCHARD
Okay.
69.
Now you can
So he's going to try and use that excuse again that it's probably not him.
go on with that story. But I have the transcripts. And I have other evidence. So we can tell the truth here, or we can go on like you've been going on. It's up to you, really.
Well, he was in the gay chat room, so...
Yeah, and I don't like how they use this excuse. Like, oh, he was in a gay chat room. Like, it doesn't matter. He gave you his age, like, 3 sentences down. It doesn't matter what chat room he was in. Like, when somebody tells you that they're 13 years old, you have literally no right to start having, like, inappropriate chats with them and sending a 13-year-old child porn. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So it was okay to have this conversation with a 13-year-old boy?
We were talking, and, he's in the gay chat room.
No excuse.
He's looking for men if he's in the gay chat room.
That is where I help you grow, by showing you different ways to learn and let you see how I live and follow the rules and observe other people. You could say I was your grandpa. This way no one knows but you and me, and who we want to know.
That is so dangerous. He is such a dangerous predator.
Did you say that to this person?
Yeah, I said that I could be his grandpa, yes.
This is a very graphic conversation. But perhaps what's more graphic is that you sent pornographic pictures over the internet.
Yeah, like, that's really messed up. He sent very graphic, like, hardcore pornography to, like, a 13-year-old child. Like, that is so messed up. Like, he sent, I don't even know how many photos he sent. I think he sent, like, 15 or something.
Pictures that qualify for child pornography. Yes or no?
Yeah, he said he was interested, so I sent yes.
Pictures that...
It doesn't matter if the child says that they were interested. You have to be the adult in these situations and say, no, little child, I will not send you these inappropriate... I mean, granted, if you already have pictures of child pornography, I don't really think you're going to care. But you really got to be the adult and say, like, no, like, I'm not going to send you this.
You with underage boys.
It's not pictures of me. It's pictures I've gotten from other people.
You sent child porn to this 13-year-old Luke. Yes or no?
Yes, I sent photographs, but they're not of me or anyone that I was with.
It's child pornography, though. Do you see the problem with that, Chuck?
Well, yeah, he's underage. Yes, I see the age.
At least he like admits it, because I know a lot of these predators, they don't even admit it. They chalk it up to not talking to people on the internet, when that's not the problem. The problem is you talk to a minor.
Do you know that it's illegal to send obscene material to someone who's underage or who you think is underage?
Not per se, no. I don't know. You know, I didn't know that I know that it's, you know, you're not, they're illegal on certain, you know, with children and things. Yes.
You believed you were talking to a 13-year-old boy named Luke.
He didn't say he was 13.
You want me to show you the transcript, John?
He said he told me he was older.
You say, hi, we're in Southern California. I'm in Orange County. Do you want older or younger? Riverside.
Yeah, that was literally the very first thing that he said.
Like older. 13, you? You said it right here. You talk about you being able to appear to be his grandmother. Could you do me a favor and just take your hand out of it? Thanks.
Yeah, I don't think he's packing heat, Chris.
What would have happened, Chuck, if I hadn't been here?
I would have talked to him. If I felt very uncomfortable, I would have left.
That is so selfish. He said if he felt uncomfortable. What about like the child? What about like the 13-year-old kid? Like what if he felt uncomfortable? And that's what I was talking about. The type of love that he was talking about was like a selfish love, like me. He was like, if I felt uncomfortable. No, like what if the child feels uncomfortable? Like he's so deep in his delusion, like these, you know, these fantasies, that he doesn't realize that the amount of psychological damage he's going to be doing to this this young child.
But if he would have consented to having sex, what would have happened?
There is no consent with somebody who's like 13.
I'd be very hesitant at first. If he continued, then possibly we would have had.
Possibly you would have had sex with a 13-year-old boy.
If, you know, I felt uncomfortable and I felt that he was, you know, not fit or anything, I would have walked away.
Not fit?
Yeah, and what do you mean by not fit? Like, this is a 13-year-old kid.
How can a 13-year-old boy be fit to have sex with a 65-year-old man?
Exactly.
Don't you see an issue there?
Well, I see nothing wrong with cuddling and caressing.
Yeah, but you talk about a lot of other things besides cuddling and caressing.
That was
it's right here in black and white.
That's if things were to of
13 is not the age of consent.
Yeah, you gotta be really sick and demented to even think about that.
No matter what happened here, it's statutory rape, Chuck. Do you get that?
Okay.
All right, you studied for a religious order.
So you're going to arrest me. You're arresting me and booking me.
I can't arrest you.
I think this is one of the things, like, I know in the later episodes, Chris was like, what does he say? That's not up to me. I feel like, scare the crap out of him. I really wish that he would have came up with that here. He'd be like, that's not up to me.
What do you think should happen to you?
Scare the crap out of him.
Well, I know that I won't talk anymore on the internet anymore. I won't talk to anybody. I'll stick strictly to my business, and that's...
And that's what I was saying. Like, that's not the lesson here. The lesson is don't talk to anybody who's underage, like 13. Come on.
I won't talk to any kids or anything else like that.
You sure seem experienced based upon this transcript I have.
And that is an understatement. He really does. Like, this is a dangerous man.
How many other times have you hooked up with
I got books that I read, sir.
Books?
I have, yeah, it's called Hand Jobs. It deals with younger, older.
Don't look that book up. It is literally disgusting. I know I said before. I feel like books like that should be banned. Like, it is just straight child pornography. And I don't know how people are allowed to publish books like that's just straight child pornography.
Father, son.
your father, son?
Yes.
You're talking about fathers having sex
Oh my gosh.
with their sons, grandfathers having sex with their grandsons.
Doctors with their patients, with the young patients, employees with their young patients.
You talk about this like
Father, son.
some sort of hobby, building train sets. That's not what we're talking about here.
It's a book that I read and I fantasize. I thought.
I feel like this is a rare example of it's not an excuse but an explanation. And it's just such a really bad explanation. I don't understand. I just don't understand why he would even bring that up. Like, what would make you think that would make your situation any better?
Okay, we'll see.
How many other teenage boys have you hooked up with over the internet?
And that's a really good question, because he really does seem like the type to have hooked up with so many children.
None. Honest, I haven't hooked up. This is the first one that I hooked up with.
I hear that a lot. Can you understand why I would be skeptical based upon this transcript?
I can't tell you, because I haven't hooked up with any other kid on the internet.
Did you bring condoms today?
No.
I have a feeling he wasn't really going to, quote unquote, need them.
Search my body. I don't have anything with me.
So what should happen to you?
Say sent to an island.
Well, I know what I would kind of say, but I know that that's not what you're saying, so.
Do you ever watch television?
I watch news now and then. And some, like one program a night or something, like Seventh Heaven or, like one program.
Seventh Heaven. Oh my gosh, that's old.
A night or something, like Seventh Heaven or Everwood or something like that, but it's not a regular basis, no.
Well, I can't arrest you because I'm not a police officer. But I am Chris Hansen.
That 3 seconds of relief.
With Dateline NBC.
And then it's gone.
And we're doing a story on computer predators. If there's anything else you'd like to tell us, we'd like to hear it. If not, obviously there's nothing I can do to keep you here and you're free to go.
No.
Nothing else you'd like to say?
No.
That would explain why you're here?
No.
You're free to go.
All right, thank you.
He said that Chris was just wasting his time. Thank you. Finally I can leave.
I'll take the time.
Yeah, so that was Chuck Harding. Very dangerous predator, very dangerous guy. So yeah. Gentlemen, have a good night.